Hi guys, a lot of you has been asking what the fuck happened to me. Why the fuck did I need the surgery? I got a lot of comments, private messages about what happened. Well, I was dying. So cool, right? Cool. Really cool. Alright, so I thought I'd make a YouTube video about it because this story is long as fuck. Well, I'm gonna try to make it short, alright? So basically, this started in. Wait, what year? What year is it? Oh, okay. It started in 2025, February. I mean, it started before that, but I only started noticing it in February. I started noticing that my breathing was wheezing. It was wheezing, you know? And then my teachers, my friends started noticing that I was breathing heavily and it was loud as fuck, like really fucking loud. Well, at first everyone thought it was asthma, and some people thought I was out of shape because I played soccer my whole life, but before this, for half a year, I did not play because I had a knee injury. So, I had a lot of tests for asthma, which was obviously negative. I also got like free inhalers, different kinds, did not work. And then I had a lot of MRIs, X-rays, CTs for my lungs. And my lungs were perfectly healthy. So after that, a lot of doctors started sending me to psychiatrists because everyone thought it was mental, of course, because I'm a teenage girl. What else could it be? It was obviously mental. So, yep. Basically, by the time it got really worse, by September, I could not breathe. And I was doing PE, I was doing sports, I was doing everything while I couldn't breathe. Yeah, I'm an animal, thank you very much. Yeah. Also, my classroom is on the 4th floor, so I had to climb up there every day. Yeah. Anyway, basically, I was at the hospital every week. So I was at different kinds of doctors every week, at least 4 free times. I wasn't even really going to school. And it was always getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Of course, every doctor was still sending me to psychiatrists. I still had another x-rays, nothing, of course. And I mean, I generally went to every different kinds of doctors. I'm not going to be very specific because we don't have time for that. And nobody wants to hear that, but I've generally been to every single doctors that could be connected. And nothing. In December, I had a fever sickness when I really thought I was going to die because my breathing got worse at that time. So that sickness was generally horrible. Yep, and then by the time I finally got out of that sickness, it got really worse. By January, I could not walk without not being able to read. It wasn't that bad, like it got in February, but it was still bad. In January, I was still going to doctors. Nothing. Like y'all are fucking doctors, professionals. Do your fucking job, please. Y'all went to medical school for years, alright? And I was smarter than fucking most of y'all. Just, okay, whatever. Okay, then it was, February. In February, I started rewatching medical shows such as Doctor House. I really loved that show when I was a kid, and I rewatched it to find anything that could be related to my situation. I didn't find anything, by the way. And in that time, Doctor House really helped me a lot. So also, Tom Hiddleston really helped me through that whole time. So basically, in February, I was sent to a brain doctor, a woman who I still want to talk to till this day, but my mom won't let me. I don't know when she's in, so I could go alone, but I don't know when she's in. I'll try, because I want to tell her how wrong she was, and she should do her job better. Basically, I was sitting there for 30 seconds, at least. She started telling me how mentally ill I am, how much mentally ill sickness I have. She told me so many stuff, and she wanted to send me to these, I don't know what kind of tests, and she also sent me to a psychiatrist, obviously, but she was pretty fucking harsh about it. She was a bitch, right? So obviously I got worked up. I was mad because, babe, I can't breathe, I can't do anything, and you're telling me that this is mental? Piss off, alright? Piss off. Who was right, by the way? Who was right? Who was right here? Who was right? By the way, you went to medical school for years, I didn't. Who was right? Me. Anyway, by the way, after like 2 days, I went to a different doctor. That was my last fucking chance. Like, really my last chance. That man found what's wrong with me. Well, he checked my noses, if there's anything that could be stopping me from breathing. And he didn't find anything. So he went and started writing that paper how there's nothing wrong with me. Then he heard my breathing when I sat down. The fact that the reason why he couldn't hear it for the first time, because my body got so used to that kind of breathing that sometime you couldn't even hear that I had anything. But I sat down. Thankfully, I was breathing heavily wrong. I was breathing wrong, alright? He was like, damn, that's weird as fuck. So he went to check my throat with some, I don't know, stuff. I don't know the medical words in English, alright? Don't come for me. And he didn't even have to look deep. He could see it from the top that my fucking airway was, at that time, 0.4 millimeters. Well, at that moment, I genuinely did not give a fuck that I'm dying. I genuinely did not give a fuck that I just found out that I have this shit for a year now. I did not give a fuck about anything. I was laughing at everyone because I was right, babes. I was fucking right, like always. And I won. And I was the happiest person alive. Like, genuinely the fucking happiest person alive. And so they found it. After a year, by the way. Doctors, y'all are respect, right? Though I love the guy who found it. I don't like people, but I like that guy. So after that, I was sent to do a CT again. But finally at the right spot now. By the way, y'all are fucking doctors. Do y'all know that when you're breathing, not only the lungs exist, but there's also the airway? Because, just saying, so, yep. finally they did a MRI and a CT, yeah, on my airway. They saw, so it was 0.4 millimeters at that time. It got worse by time. I'll get back to that, but yeah, so after that they sent me to it was still that day. They sent me to a hospital in Bratislava, a 2-hour ride from me here. It's a capital city. Of course in Slovakia, because I live here. And I went there to a children's hospital because I'm still under 18. And I was still doing tests and stuff like that for 2 months. Oh, you're dumb, I'm fucking dying and you're doing this on me? And at that time, it was really, like, fucking bad. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't do anything. And it really affected me mentally. Like, fucking hell. Only thing was helping me is Dr. House and Tom. Like, gosh, that time was not it. Yeah, I was just... I really got depressed, and I was in my room all day, suffocating, and it's like you're breathing, but you're not breathing, and it's generally the worst feeling ever. Because it really felt like I was dying. It really did feel like I was dying, because I was, but, you know, not being able to breathe is like the worst feeling you could ever have. And after that, they were doing some tests for a sickness that I did not have, thankfully. It's a lifelong sickness or whatever that could have been prevented by pills, by the way, so I wouldn't have needed surgery. But I did not have that. I think it's an immune sickness or whatever. I don't know what is it called in English. Yep. Then they wanted to put a camera down my throat. Well, no, before that they wanted to hospitalize me. And because that was a children's hospital, I was there. I was bringing my stuff, by the way. They fucking wanted to put me... Wait, give me a second. No, that's not the right time. No, first they wanted to put a camera down my throat so they could look it from up. So how it looks, so see how it looks from inside. And I did not let them. I calmly, I calmly refused, alright? And so they were like, alright, we did the 2 times that we put someone into their sleep. And they did like that. I'm like, alright, we could agree on that. Y'all can put me into sleep. And y'all can do it, because ain't no way I'm doing that shit. Alright, like, just imagine they fucking put down a tube like this into your fucking airway. Hell no. So basically, yeah. After that, like, another few days went by. They told me to go in because they are going to hospitalize me. I'm like, fuck y'all, alright, I don't care. And because it's a children's hospital, I was there. I got a fucking room with 2 5-year-olds. I hate kids. Y'all can imagine how much I hate kids. No, I had a mental breakdown right there and then. I couldn't breathe. I was not well mentally at that time. And y'all want me to sleep in the middle, by the way, beside 2 children who's crying, smells like shit. I went in there, smells like shit. No, so I was like, no, guys, I'm going away. Fuck y'all, I'd rather die. Bye. basically I had a whole mental breakdown there. I'm like, nah. And thank God I did. Thank God I did, because if I wouldn't, I would be there dying. Dying. I don't know, I think I would be dead, but who cares? So, basically, after this, I went home. Same day, by the way. I didn't sleep there. And basically I was waiting for another week for something to happen. I was still going for some testing, whatever. And 2 weeks before my surgery, they were telling us, it was really literally my last point. I was suffocating so bad. My mom was always calling the hospital and be like, my daughter, she's suffocating, she can't do it, what should we do? And they were like, the fucking woman told us that if I'm not purple or green, then I'm not suffocating. Sorry, what? Babe, what the fuck are you talking about? If I'm not purple, get the fuck out. Like, okay, I'm not even gonna talk about this because I would get so fucking mad. Anyway, for 2 weeks, all I was listening, if I'm not purple or green, then I'm not suffocating. And for 2 weeks, I was also listening to the fact that they cannot put me into sleep. They found out that they can't put me into sleep because if they would, I would die. And so they can't do surgery, they can't operate, they can't do shit, blah 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 blah. They told me I was probably going to have a tracheostomy, I think, when there's like a tube here and you breathe through that. Well, I was preparing for that mentally because they told us that there's no way we could run away from that. It was probably going to happen. Thank God it didn't, because yep. Basically, for 2 weeks they told me that they could not put me into sleep. So they told me that I really need to do that camera thingy, so they could see what should I do. So I was like, okay, I generally do not care at this point. Do whatever you want with me. I know I'm going to die. If y'all are doing with this speed for 2 months still, y'all found out what's wrong with me and y'all are still like doing some, okay, let's not. By that time my airway was 0.2 millimeters, which is like that fucking much. Okay, it's nothing, all right, it's nothing, get a ruler, look, it's nothing. I don't know how I was living. I do not know. Well, it didn't feel like I was living at all. And by the way, in February I stopped going to school, so at that time I wasn't able to go to school. I wasn't able to do anything at all. And basically I had that appointment, the camera appointment thingy for the hospital on April 7th. And I was supposed to go up there to Bratislava. 5 minutes before we headed to the road, I found out that my appointment was cancelled. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? They told us that a parent cancelled it. I was like, my mom did not knew anything about it. And fun fact, my dad did not give a fuck. He didn't knew anything about my situation. He just knew that I couldn't breathe, that's all. And behind our back, he pulled some strings. He had a friend who knew a surgeon who are doing these. He did not know anything, like anything. It was 50-50 if I survived the fucking surgery, because in the other hospital they told me that if they put me into sleep I die. So my dad made me a surgery appointment without me knowing, without my mom knowing, without anyone knowing. Well, first time he was right, thankfully. Fun fact, I'm not scared of that. I think that is beautiful, but I do not want to die. I still have my glorious purpose that I have to fulfill. I still have to be out in Hollywood, you know, doing movies because I'm awesome. Thank you. Yep. So it was that beautiful Tuesday day when I found out that I'm going to have a surgery. I was like, I refuse to believe it. So my mom was like, pack your things. No, I was like, I'm not packing my things, y'all. I'm not packing my things. So I went up there 2 hours to talk with the surgeon, and I was a pretty mean fuck. I told him, fun fact, I was talking with English with basically every doctor, surgeon, whatever, because we're in Slovakia, and I mean, I understand Slovak, but I can't really speak it all right. I mean, I can if I really want to, but I was talking in English with basically everyone. And I told him that, I'm sorry, buddy, but I only know you for a minute. I'm not going to trust you with my fucking life. Which is, I think, a valid reason. I was not mentally ill. Everyone was sending me to psychiatrists, I was just not very well, alright? And he got mad. He told me if I'm not cooperating, then he's not doing this, the surgery, because it was an adult hospital or whatever, so they couldn't even be really operating on children, I think. So if I'm not cooperating, they can't do it. So they need my cooperation. And at that time, I really wasn't cooperating, but my mom was like, no, you're doing it, or stuff like that, whatever. So we had to drive back home to get my stuff, because I refused to get my stuff. That 2-hour ride back home was the longest 2 hours of my life. It was the most quiet, and it felt like I was on drugs. It really felt like I was on drugs, because I didn't know if I were going to be able to fulfill my dreams. I really had a lot of plans for myself this year, which I'm going to do, because I will, because now I'm here. Now I'm well and alive. And it really wasn't about dying, really. It was about me not fulfilling my dreams yet. And I really didn't know what to do, because it was a 50-50 chance. And I went home, I still refused to pack, I was sleeping, and I didn't really want to wake up. I thought it was a fever dream. And after that, I finally packed my stuff. And I went back there, I got hospitalized. At least I got a whole room to myself. And I also got a whole bathroom to myself. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was there in the hospital, and luckily they didn't do the surgery on me immediately. They gave me 2 days to proceed. Thanks so much. 2 days was fully enough. So basically I had my surgery on April 10th, Friday. Well, before that, 2 days, it was so weird, y'all can imagine. Do not ever eat hospital food, like never, just never. I was living on IKEA food and McDonald's for that 2 days. My mom was eating the hospital food. She ate my half too. Well, yeah. And then, you know what they were telling me? Because everyone was preparing me mentally, and everyone was telling me that, by the way, after your surgery, you're gonna be like sewed together like this. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? You're gonna be sewed together like this? I'm like, I was so like, what are you talking about? I didn't know what to expect, like at all. Like at all, I did not know what to expect, right? Basically. By the way, my dad never called me, texted me, nothing. He did not give a fuck. I was into my that what? Okay, whatever. Just saying, because at that time he was telling everyone about my situation, and he even forgot about my birthday 2 months before my surgery, and he was telling every fucking person that, oh my god, my daughter's dying. But by the way, he did not give a fuck about me at all. Just saying. So if anyone who knows him watches this, just knows that my dad is a horrible person, by the way, and he did not give a fuck that I was dying, even if he was saying everyone, and he was guilt tripping everyone into thinking that he cared. He did not, by the way. Not call me one time or texted me one time while I was in hospital. Thank you. So basically, oops, sorry y'all, my iPhone storage is full, but I'm back, I think, for now. So basically I had my surgery, and I woke up I was the first, so they woke me up 5 a.m. in the morning. I showered, I put on those tight socks or whatever. It was really weird. That feeling, that smell was so weird, and the vibe was so weird. And I remember just laying in my bed, waiting for that to see what happens. And I went into the preparation room. I undressed. I remember laying down, I was shaking, because they also told me that there's a chance, if I survive this surgery, that there's a chance that I will lose my voice, which is was really the hardest thing to hear, because my voice is my everything, and I couldn't imagine my life without my voice. I wouldn't even be able to fulfill my dreams without my voice. So I was really worried about that. That was the most worrying for me. Then all I remember is that they drugged me, and all I remember by that time, they let my mom in. She was she was here and was like, ooh, and she had to dress up to look like a doctor or whatever. You know what I mean? And I thought she was a doctor. I genuinely thought she was a doctor, and they were sewing something into my hand, and I looked it up and was like, what the fuck? And she told me to stop cursing, and I thought it was a doctor telling me to stop cursing. I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? Anyway, I remember talking about Loki. I remember telling everyone how cool and awesome and how much of a diva I am. And then I remember when they put me on the operation table or whatever, the last thing I remember is that I started singing, I'm a survivor. Anyway, yeah, that's what I started singing, and then I remember waking up. I woke up, yeah. I remember my mom coming in, and she put on Loki for me to watch, and I was still under anesthesia, and then I remembered every fucking word under fucking anesthesia. Proud moment. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, I was in the ICU. It was pretty cool. I made a friend. The night nurse was, shout out to her. She became my friend, and I love her so much. And she was always coming to me, by the way. So, yep. We talked, like, I was talking 24/7 because of my breathing. I couldn't really talk, and I love talking, and I couldn't really talk anymore because of my breathing. So I was talking 24/7 at the ICU. Yeah. Then I remember there was nothing wrong, so they put me back in my room 24 hours later. I remember that they tossed me a freaking sandwich to eat after my surgery while I was sewed together like this. I had my head like this for 7 days. How? I don't know. I don't know how I survived that shit, but it was not good. It was not good. And they tossed me a fucking sandwich to eat in the morning after my surgery. It hasn't even been 24 hours. I'm like, are you stupid? I'm like, this I can't even fucking anyway, my mom made this sandwich. Then I went back into my room. I generally didn't really eat for 4 days. I tried eating once and I vomited. You know that was the worst feeling ever. Like, no. Anyway, my mom said I lost like a shit ton of weight. I do not see it at all. She says I don't even have an ass anymore. What the fuck are you talking? Anyway, basically that. Everyone told me that the first few days are going to be the worst. Well, it wasn't, babe. The last few days were the worst because I wasn't on any drugs and stuff like that because yep, and I was really uncomfortable. I couldn't even walk anymore. I was getting tired. I couldn't sleep. Yep, I don't know, a shitload of things happened in that 7 days. I got Legos. So I will do that in my free time. I was like, but that's only going to take me like an hour because I'm really fast at doing Legos. And I couldn't build that fucking Lego for days, when I tell you, because it was so hard looking for the pieces like this. No, never, please, no. So that was something. Well, I'm leaving a lot of parts out, by the way, from this story because I don't want it to be too long. It's already like 30 minutes long. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I think most of it, well, then it was 1 week later after my surgery. I was still in the fucking hospital and they were finally going to cut that. But before that, they had to look at my AV. They told me that it was just gonna be some shit. They can just look down a little. Sure. I went into another building and they were a whole ass team. Like if they are preparing for surgery, I'm like, the fuck is going on, y'all? I'm fine. They were going to put down that fucking camera down my airway, which by the way, at that time I did not give a fuck. Honestly, by the time I've got such a fucking like high pain tolerance that it was nothing. But there was like 10 people in the room because they were like, so they're gonna put me into sleep if I'm not cooperating or something. Why would I not cooperate? Shut up, okay? Okay, shut up. Alright, so basically that went well. There was nothing wrong. So they finally cut down the shit. And I was crying because I wasn't able to put my head up full. I mean, obviously I needed to be careful and stuff. But I felt so scared that I would mess it up and I would like tear the stitches inside obviously. And I was like, oh my god. So I was laying there. I'm like, I can't do shit. But then at that day I went home and of course, what did Sophia do immediately after she got out of the hospital? She the first time she was basically the first time I was walking, obviously, but basically the longest time she was walking after her operation, she went to a mall after she got out of the fucking hospital. Well, I went to a mall because I wanted to eat Burger King. Babe, that was the first Burger King I've ever ate in my whole fucking life. It was horrible. By the way, after my surgery, everything tasted shit. I did not like any sweets. I did not like Nutella. Who the fuck doesn't like Nutella? Anyway, I also got lactose intolerant and gluten in what? Gluten shit, you know? Like, oh, allergic to gluten. So basically I couldn't eat shit after my surgery. But yeah, I was shopping a little and I was dizzy and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck, but I still had to shop. Diva behavior, I don't care. Anyway, I was enjoying that I was able to breathe. Alright. Anyway, then I guess I went home. Blah blah blah. I don't know. By the way, I ended up loving the surgeon. He was a diva. He told me he wants to come, if I get famous, that he wants to come to my first premiere. I'm like, sure, diva. So this is your official invitation, dude. Yeah. 3 people asked me actually in the fucking hospital to invite them to my first premiere. I'm like, alright, come. And yep. Well, I'm still thinking if I left anything really important out. Really important, because there's a lot of shit I left out, but I don't think so. After that, I got my absolutely adorable Loki, my dog, obviously. I was shit ton of Loki. And yeah, he made me feel much better. And then luckily my headmaster teacher, she had me like a huge amount. Luckily I didn't fail at school because of her, and I completed everything. I'm fine. And she helped me through my surgery also, so I'm really thankful for her. And yep, and basically I think that's all. Wait, I'm gonna show you all my Loki. Wait, let me be right back. I woke this bitch up. Sorry, babe. It's my baby. Sorry, Loki. I know he doesn't look like Loki, but he's Loki. He acts like Loki. Also, we're twins. Twinsies. Sorry, do your job. Anyway, I think that's all. If you all have any questions, feel free to ask me. I don't give a fuck. Always be a stubborn bitch. That is my experience from all this. I was a stubborn bitch, like always. Yeah, do whatever you think is right. Be a stubborn bitch and just do it. That's all. Thank you. Oh wait, I also forgot to say that after my surgery, I still had to go like 4 times for that camera thingy. So they would know that there's nothing wrong, and they also removed my stitches, which everyone told me it was going to be a really painful experience. It wasn't. Anyway, now really that's all. Like really, I think. Bye. Also, I left out the most important part. They cut out 2 centimeters out of my airway. That's how they solved the problem. And I really think that's all for now. I mean, no, I watched it back. I left out a shitload of things, but bye.